Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, the breaking news, culture, manic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Incredibly bullish news. Bit of hopium, definitely bit of hopium. You can't say it's not hopium, but holy cow, you have Adam Back and Michael Saylor very close proximity time-wise, both making the case for $10 million Bitcoin. So that's what we're going to cover during the news. But during the culture segment, that's what I'm really excited for. We have the awesome team from the Bitcoin trading card. So we're going to talk a lot about that. I'm sure you guys have been seeing that on the interwebs, on Twitter. So many awesome cards dropping, the design. So we're going to get into the process behind all of that. We have the whole team. This is going to be the biggest Simply Bitcoin episode in history. And when I mean biggest, that means the amount of people that are coming on the show today live. We've never had this many people before. It's a live show. Anything could happen. Let's roll with it. Let's do it. So let's start bringing on all our guests. We have the founder. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Doing great. Thank you for having me. Excited.
And of course, thanks, man. Thanks for joining us. We have AC. How you doing, AC?
Hi, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having us. Super excited.
Thank you for joining us. We have Murdoch Media. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Doing well.
You guys think I'm done? There's more people. Carla, how you doing, Carla? Welcome to the show.
Hey, good. How are you? Thanks for having us.
You guys still think I'm done? We got more. Brandon, welcome to the show. And of course, last but not least, my awesome co-host, always optimistic, Optimus Fields. How you doing, Opti?
Yo, this is awesome. Look,
this is a party, bro.
Look at this stream.
Look at what's going on, guys. Let us know in the chat what you think. This is going to be fun. We're experimenting. This is a live show. Hope you guys enjoy it. Anyways, Opti, you have a little bit more details about what we're going to cover in the culture.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna talk all things BTC or Bitcoin trading cards. We're gonna, you know me, I'm very big on trying to find ways to better orange pill people, try to get Bitcoin into the mainstream culture. And if you guys were at Pacific Bitcoin, I think every one of you guys got a pack of trading cards. And I think this is part of the effort of just how do we get the Bitcoin signal in as many ways as possible in front of as many people as possible. And I think this is part of that effort. So we'll talk about basically, what the idea was behind this, what the trading cards actually are. And then you guys tagged us on Twitter and said you guys have some announcements and stuff. So, we're breaking stuff on the show. So we'll get right into that in the culture, Nico. But I think we're all waiting for the Nico Jones stuff today. We want the hopium, bro. Come on.
The hopium is coming, but I want to take advantage of all our guests, right? And I also don't want to waste their time either. So guys, normally we do the news first. We're going to do the numbers. We're going to jump straight into the culture. And then we're going to get into the breaking news. What is Saylor talking about? It's going to be a great show. Really looking forward to it. But anyways, everybody, let's get to numbers. Let's do this.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by Nodl. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a Nodl through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, everybody, I also want to tell you about Bitcoin 2023. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference in the world, hosted in sunny Miami Beach, Florida, May 18th through the 20th, 2023. You could take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get a 10% discount on your tickets. The future of Bitcoin starts at Bitcoin 2023. Let's take a look at some of the speakers because the speaker list is absolutely crazy. You have Arthur Hayes, Michael Saylor, Jack Mallers. You have Casey. He's the creator of Ordinals. Whether you like it or not, that's really cool that he's going. You have Alex Gladstein, Preston Pish. I always mess up pronunciations. Stacy Herbert, Greg Foss, Matt Odell, Lynn Alden, and many more. You definitely don't want to miss this Bitcoin celebration. Anyways, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 24,435 sats per dollar, 4,092. Block height, 777,665. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 15,016. Blocks to the halving, 62,325. Halving estimate April 22nd, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 5,356 Bitcoin. Capacity value, 130 million US dollars. And the realized monetary inflation, 1.76%. Opti, that is so weird because it keeps going up, then it keeps going down. I don't know what's going on there.
What's Clark Moody doing over there?
What is Clark Moody doing over there? And the market capitalization of Bitcoin, $471 billion with a B in the grand scheme of things. Bitcoin is still a tiny baby. Anyways, everybody, I want to talk about what was happening in Canada not too long ago. But before I play the video, I want to read you guys a response by Nunchuck, right? You guys remember this epic response to the Canadian government when retroactively made it illegal to donate to the Canadian Freedom Truckers protest. And this was their response when the Canadian government asked for information in regards to the people that they're their customers, the people that were using the Nunchuck wallet. It says, they said, we do not collect any user identification information beyond email addresses. We also do not hold any keys. Therefore, we cannot freeze our users' assets. We cannot prevent them from being moved. We do not have knowledge of the existence, nature, value, location of our users' assets. This is by design. Quote, please look up how self-custody and private keys work. The letter continued, when the Canadian dollar becomes worthless, we will be here to serve you too. Anyways, I want to play you this video that was recently released by a member of the Canadian government. If you guys remember her, right, I think her last name was Friedland, and she was responsible for the initial announcement of the retroactive banning of being able to donate to the truckers' protest, not to mention the freezing of certain Canadians' accounts based on their political viewpoints, which is a very, very scary world if that's the direction we're heading in. Anyways, let's play the video and then we'll get everyone's take on it.
Yeah, so look, when it comes to the financial measures, I think the most important thing to start with is, as the Prime Minister just said, Justice Rouleau's conclusion, which was, and I'm going to read it, it was a powerful tool to discourage participation and to incentivize protesters to leave. I am satisfied that it played a meaningful role in shrinking the footprint of the protests and in doing so made a meaningful contribution to resolving the public order emergency. That is his broad conclusion on the economic measures. It's what we believed at the time, and I'm really glad that having looked at this so carefully, Justice Rouleau agrees. I would also add that what was so important for us in putting in place these economic measures was our overriding objective, of course, was to end the illegal blockades and occupation. It was to do so without violence, without anyone being hurt. And the economic measures were a tool that really helped make that happen. On the specific question about unfreezing accounts, Justice Rouleau also points out a couple of things. He points out that on February 21st, an order issued, a statement from the RCMP effectively instructed that all accounts be unfrozen. Of course, when the measures were lifted on February 23rd, they were unfrozen. And he also pointed out in his own report that work was done urgently at the time and was being done between the government and law enforcement bodies and banks to ensure that there was a process in place to unfreeze the accounts. So all of that was happening. As the Prime Minister said, in the very horrible event that this ever has to happen again, for sure, there are some lessons for us. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Talk about gaslighting. I love how they referred to freezing people's account as an economic measure. And at the very, very end, she basically admitted to a mistake. Like we would do things differently. But I think the case that Bitcoiners would say, and another thing also is the government is determining what is what is a viable protest and what is not a viable protest. And the way that she basically said we are incentivizing people not to protest by freezing their bank accounts, is that a route that we want as a society to be heading in? Is that, do we want these powerful bureaucratic elites to getting to pick and choose, getting to decide what protest is okay, what protest is not okay? I think she was scared. I sense fear at the very end. I think that they understood that they went too far. But my question for all of you is, look, now that you have a technology that allows you to take self-custody of your wealth without fear of debasement or wealth confiscation based on your own political beliefs, why not use that technology? Why not take away the ability for the government to do that in the first place? And again, like personally, on an individual level, I stand by the truckers. I think that their protest was justified, but I also acknowledge that that is my own political belief system. As a Bitcoiner, though, I believe in Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, you have to be okay with your worst enemy, even people that completely disagree with you on a political level, using your money. And there's nothing you could do about it. And I really believe the world would be a much better place than a bunch of bureaucrats deciding who is entitled to use money and who is not entitled to use money. That's my take on that. And the like, it was like the pompousness to think that, hey, we have the ability to control people by, so-called economic measures. Basically, that's just a very fancy way, dressing up a pig, of saying we have the ability to freeze people's money if we don't like what they have to say. That's what she was saying, and she was kind of walking it back at the end. But I don't trust her not to do the same thing once again. Anyways, we have a lot of people, so I'm just going to do a round table. If anyone, just feel free to jump in on what your thoughts, and then
I'd like to start with Murdoch. He's Canadian, right? So,
Yeah.
Let's go with Murdoch.
Sure. So yeah, when basically that announcement happened, I definitely got a lot more bullish than I already was on Bitcoin. And shortly after those announcements were made and they started freezing accounts, I've since started deleveraging my TFSA, so I've none of that left. It's all over in Bitcoin now, which is equivalent to like your Roth IRA, I think is the equivalent. And yeah, let's go Bitcoin.
Let's go Bitcoin. Absolutely. Yeah, because it made you lose confidence in the system itself. Anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, lad.
So, I mean, for me, the biggest one that caught me in that speech, let alone what happened, is when she said this is a non-violent way to stop the protesters. I mean, freezing people's bank accounts, the amount of maybe not bodily harm that it does directly, but the violence that comes from that. I mean, I'd almost rather be kicked in the face than have my funds frozen where I can't make my mortgage payment and feed my kids or whatever it might come down to with that. So for me, when that happened, it was just that the start of the CBDC, and like with PayPal and all the different ways they're doing it, this is the start, and this is why Bitcoin is important for everyone on earth. And like you said, Bitcoin, we don't care about what other people think. Everyone has the right. This is all about freedom, and everyone in their own way needs to understand that Bitcoin is the ability for them to have their own opinion. So it definitely was an eye-opener across the board. 2020, 2021. If people didn't start to wake up from that, maybe the kick in the face is what we need.
100%, right? If you're not awakened to this at this point, what else is going to awaken you? It's interesting to say the least. Anyone else want to jump in?
I was just gonna say that you said it right on. You said it, gaslighting. Anytime there's gaslighting that's happening, there's guilt. They're projecting something that they know they're guilty of. I'd love to see a video of her talking, and then her nose just keeps growing and growing and growing. Someone to animate that. So
It kind of was. I saw it. You could see it like out of the corner of your eye. Her nose just kept getting bigger and bigger. Carla, Brandon, you guys want to jump in?
Yeah, I think the telling sentence was at the end, her just saying, "Hey, lessons were learned." And to your point, Nico, I mean, they're going to do it again. You're right. Like we live in a world where it's government. The rights come from government now, apparently, not from God, not from above, and rights come from government. And they know that. They know most people have grown up for the last 110 years in this fiat inflationary Federal Reserve system where government just tells you what to do and people just roll over and don't say anything. So they're showing their hand. They're continuing to double down on that. So we know that's going to happen. And same thing with money. Money comes from value creation, comes from the private sector, comes from people, not from government. So money is not fiat. It doesn't come from government. Rights don't come from government. And those two kind of shelling points are the reason we have so many problems in society and people just roll over and don't ask questions. Well, they come from the government. Money comes from the government. It's printed from the government. Rights come from the government. And they just don't question. That's why so many of us Bitcoiners sit here. We understand the beginnings. We understand the founding documents. We understand nature's law and first principles. And so we get it, but the average person doesn't. And they're about to, like as Aladdin said, they're about to get kicked in the face in the coming years.
100%. I completely agree with you. Carla, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of touched on everything. I mean, it's just once we get to this point in the government, we got to wake up, right? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. And if this doesn't wake people up, I'm not sure really what will. It's really scary watching that.
Yeah, 100%. Opti, why don't you chime in and then we'll get to the culture and talk about some Bitcoin trading cards.
Yeah, for sure. But first off, shouts out to Brandon. He's always in the spaces. I didn't recognize you till you started ranting. Like, what's up, dog? anyways, first and foremost, shouts out to the Chad Nunchuck response. Like, that's going to go down as one of the classic letters from any company in the Bitcoin space. But back to the video. Did I hear this correctly? Like, was this lady literally bragging about squashing the trucker protest? Like, I don't know about you, but that's like kind of what I heard. And then furthermore, we say this all the time. I think we've gotten to the point where the powers that be are like so arrogant and detached from reality that they're saying the quiet part out loud. Like, we talk about it as Bitcoiners all the time about how economics is used to, squash violence. And like, this is economics being used as a warfare. And they're like, oh, like we didn't hurt anyone. It's like, I'd argue cutting people off from their money is actually hurting people. You're literally starving people. But hey, I'm just a crazy Bitcoiner. Like, the double speak is absolutely insane. And then just imagine if you gave these people the power of ushering in a CBDC. Someone said in the chat, like the US, Canada, they're all angling towards a CBDC. And like, this is exactly what they want to do. And I loved, I think it was Aladdin who said it, or I'm probably saying this wrong, your name, bro. Sorry. Anyways, cool. Anyways, I love how you framed it. Bitcoin gives you the right to have an opinion. And we're getting into this world right now where everyone's afraid of being able to speak the truth, talk the truth, because they know that there is going to be consequences in the world like this, cutting you off from your money, canceling you. And this is the beauty of Bitcoin. It's freedom money for a reason. And no one can shut you off the Bitcoin network as long as you are taking your Bitcoin into self-custody and you're avoiding the on and off ramps. Like, this is the beauty of Bitcoin, and this is the world that terrifies the unproductive parasite class.
Oh God. Yes. All right, everybody, let's get to the culture. We got a lot to talk about. I want to know all the details about these cards. Let's check it out.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I want to tell you about BitBlock Boom. It's going to be the biggest Bitcoin conference in Austin, Texas, August 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 2023. It's not a shitcoin, NFT, or blockchain events. They talk about Bitcoin, and more Bitcoin. Get your tickets now. Take advantage of the promo code Simply Bitcoin. Get a discount to Boom. Also, you want to check out Unconfiscatable, the awesome Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. Also, a poker tournament, which I came in 8th place, first time playing a poker tournament. Can't believe it. Out of 100 people, holy cow. You don't want to miss it. Bitcoin conference and poker tournament. Speaker list includes Tone Vays, Adam Back, Jack Mahlers, Greg Foss, and many, many more. You can take advantage of the promo code Simply10 to get a big discount to Unconfiscatable. Anyways, Opti, what are we going to talk about today?
All right, guys. So as you can see, we have the whole team here from the Bitcoin trading company or card. And this is kind of back to what I talk about consistently. I've been going hard on this message lately. It's the idea of trying to get Bitcoin in as many ways as possible, in as many forms as possible, so that we can spread the Bitcoin culture or signal into popular culture. And I know a lot of us that were, again, I keep referencing the Pacific Bitcoin Conference because this is the first time that I saw them. And there was a lot of joking going on, like, yo, do we keep these mint or do we open them up? And I'm instantly like opening them up like, yo, I need to see what kind of cards I got. But anyways, I don't know who wants to jump in. Maybe it's Aladdin as the creator, but what's the idea behind the Bitcoin trading cards? And then we'll jump into a little more topics afterwards.
All right. Yeah. The main reason I started Bitcoin trading cards was I couldn't shut up about Bitcoin. Since 2016, when I found it, I tried to orange pill every single person I could find. Even when I'm standing in line at the bank, that's my favorite time to try and orange pill everybody standing in line. So the fact that I can't shut up about it, I was able to get a shit ton of feedback from everybody on different approaches that really worked and a lot of approaches that didn't. So one of the biggest things I found is it's the orange pill. Actually, there's a shit ton of red pill that comes into it, because for me, I've noticed it's more important to get them to understand the why Bitcoin more than how Bitcoin works. So in order for them to understand the why, it goes back to like what we were just talking about with the trucker protests. If they need to understand all of the different implications that are going on right now with the Fed and the history of money. Saifedean's book was amazing. That just breaks down the history of money. And if you take your time to read that book, then you're going to understand exactly why we need Bitcoin. So the main point with that is there's a shit ton of red pill that goes into orange pilling somebody, and that's not fun. The majority of people, ignorance is bliss, cognitive dissonance is strong, and they really don't want to be bombarded with a bunch of toxic, hardcore information on why the world is so screwed up and why you need Bitcoin. So how do we approach people, the general public, and give them that information without pushing them away, without it being overboard for them, and getting them to take the time to listen? So we got to make Bitcoin fun. And if there's a fun way to explain what the Federal Reserve is, this is, in my opinion, the closest that I could find to producing that for somebody. And then breaking down monetary history, that's usually not a really fun subject for people that aren't Bitcoiners. So I created originally 10 categories that break all these down. We've got the tyranny category that explains what communism is, what is a dictatorship, things that you would imagine the general public gets, but because of the mainstream media, excuse me, giving their rendition of all of these, the majority of people don't know. That's why so many people think that socialism is a good thing. So breaking all of these subjects down in a really fun way with these trading cards, it is a subliminal orange pill. So people are going to collect these cards because they're fun, they're collectible. Trading cards has been an amazing, one of the best collectibles for over 150 years. So in the general public so far, getting these out, I've got so many people that have grabbed these cards. They love them, the artwork, they're fun. What can I do with these cards? And then before you know it, they're calling me back and they're going, hey, I started reading a couple of these cards. Can you tell me more about this? So we're working on a website where they could scan the QR code. It'll take them to the website, and on the back of that card, the QR code, and then they can learn more about these subjects. So it's really just a very fun and simple flashcard way to get the general public into Bitcoin. And then we have a lot more really fun things that we're throwing in it we can talk about in a bit. That was the main purpose of starting this. Is I'm on a mission to orange pill as many people as possible, and I do think that if I can't approach it in a really fun way for them, then I'm not gonna I'm not going to win nowhere near as much as I can if we can make it fun.
Absolutely love it. Wait, trading cards. So what is this, like physical NFTs? Like, what are these trading card things? No, I'm just joking. Anyone can jump in on this one. How has the Orange Pill been going with this project? I know you kind of mentioned it, but are you getting a good reception with people? Do people, like, is there like a game that comes out of this, or what? We just trading Pokemon cards here? I'm a Pokemon card kid, so I'm learning.
Let's let Alani throw. She's got some great experience with how this orange pill in a pack has been working so far when it comes to the general public. I love her stories on it, so we'll let her take this one.
Yeah, kind of real quick, my history. Of course, I met him at Pacific Bitcoin and at the conference, and I bought a pack, one for myself and two for my god kids. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Plus, I want to support Bitcoiners, right? And so anyways, I come home the next morning and the Pacific Bitcoin conference is on a Friday. And that morning I had my coffee and I'm like, hey, let me just open up my packs. Well, I was so mind blown with the artwork that I saw, the information on the back, that unfortunately, let's just say my god kids never got their 2 packs. I opened it, went to the conference and just got all up in Aladdin's face. Like, what is happening? What is this? I can't get enough, and I'm mind blown because I don't understand the trading world. I do better now. My husband and I were collectors, records, art, so it just started making sense, with the cards. Fast forward to about 3 weeks ago, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had family that came in town. I'm really close with my family. They're some of my best friends. And like a lot of people, Bitcoiners out there, just because you're close with your family doesn't mean that they want to talk about Bitcoin. And not that they were ever opposed to talk about it, but it's just, sometimes, who wants to talk about it. So again, I've talked about it with my family before, but, we've all shared exchanging of the things that we're investing in. But this time around, my cards were on the table. My husband started talking to my brother and just showing like, oh yeah, look what Alani's a part of and check this out. Well, they got so intrigued. We sat on the couch and they were looking at the cards. We literally started reading the cards, the information on the back of the cards out loud. And there was even questions that they had, legit amazing questions that, I even got stuck because I'm in this bubble, in this Bitcoin world, but I haven't really stepped out to have that one-on-one action. So there were questions that I know the answer, but how do I articulate it? And I literally took one of the back, I go, oh, that's a good question. Well, here, let's read. And I was able to read to them that broke it down clearly better than what I could break it down. And from there, it was really cool to see them so intrigued. Of course, they're celebrating because they're happy for me. But then they got interested and then they had to go away from out of town. Then they came back and they ended up buying a box. And again, I don't know if they're buying Bitcoin yet, but the fact that they went and bought a whole box and we opened the cards together on a live stream. They got back, they live in northern Idaho. And we did a live stream together and, I was able to join them opening these cards, talking about Bitcoin, talking about the cards. He's like, oh yeah, I've been learning about this too, when it comes to Federal Reserve or some of the other educational information that's in there. That's not just about Bitcoin, but our monetary system. So it was really cool. And then my nephews, he was telling my nephews are in their 20s, he was telling them about it. So they're intrigued with it too. So it's just a great avenue, a great way to start a conversation. Now, what they do from there, that's up to any and everybody. But the fact that I can start this conversation, I can go to work and I put these cards in, not in these nice thick packs, but I just go and go, here you go. This card right here talks about that there's only 21 million Bitcoin. This is easy to hand to somebody and them going, huh, wow, cool art. What they do with it, or they start conversations. Sorry, I live in downtown LA, so there's sirens, but that's what I love about it. And that's what's been happening. And I've even noticed my confidence being boosted from these beautiful cards. And it's easy to share with people. So
Absolutely.
It's been fun, really exciting.
Opti, so would you guys happen to have a card that we could show everybody on screen? You could pick anyone you would like.
Aladdin?
I have like some in
Yeah,
front of
Lonnie's
me.
got some.
Oh, there we go. There we
Mine
go.
aren't here.
Oh, check out this guy.
Tone
Who's that?
Vase.
Hey.
Who's that?
Tone
Good
Vase.
choice.
Who's that?
Tone messaged
by-
me this morning. He said that you guys
by-
were. He was excited that you guys were coming on.
By the way, it's number 38 out of 100. Hi, Tone. And then I got this guy right here. Who's that?
No, it's Max Kaiser himself.
It's Max
That is
Kaiser. Can I
very,
flex
very
real
cool.
quick? I got number 43 out of 100. Hey. And then last but not least, I have not announced it to our pack stackers, but I pulled this guy right here.
Legendary Hal Finney.
Hal Finney, you guys.
Amazing.
And I'll flex real quick. I got 59 out of 100. It's so fun, but really great.
Wow.
Great, amazing guys that have impacted and what we have today in Bitcoin. So
Absolutely. Never had the pleasure of meeting Hal, but Tone and Max, man, legends, absolute legends. Anyways, Opti, see you have something pulled up.
Well, everyone was asking in the chat if they can get more, and I looked at the website and they're all sold out, but I saw that you guys have this geyser fund. So let the people know, are we going to get some more cards soon? What's going on with you guys? And then I don't know if this is part of your guys' announcements, but you guys tag me on Twitter saying you guys got some special announcements, so we can get into all that.
Excellent. Yeah. So we sold out in under 3 months. It was incredible because we haven't done any marketing other than just let the community market it for us. I want the quality of what we're doing to speak for itself. So no paid promotions, none of that shit. It's just put out an amazing product and let it speak for itself. So to sell out in under 3 months is just insane with a marketing strategy like that. What's left of Series 1? So we do have Bitcoin Magazine that reserved 21 boxes before we sold out. So here, I think in about a week or less, Bitcoin Magazine will have the remaining 21 boxes, and then they will have those up for sale. You can buy those through, I believe, bitcoinmagazine.com. And then we have some boxes we put in cold storage of Series 1, and we will be dropping those in different ways. But other than that, yeah, Series 1 is gone. The big announcements. So we have been beyond blessed over just the last couple weeks have been insane. But the first one we put out on Twitter maybe a month ago was the legendary Tone Vase. We don't put anyone in the pack unless we get 100% approval and get their blessing and everything. So you're not going to find people there. Obviously, we couldn't reach Hal, but I think he needed to be highlighted, period. So having him in the first series, it had to have been done. But when it comes to anybody else living that we have in the community, then yeah, if we don't get their total blessing, then we don't put them in the pack. Having Tone in there, once he got involved, he jumped in and became an advisor, which is just insane to have Tone as an advisor. It was amazing. Then we stepped it up from there. We've got Bob Burnett from Barefoot Mining, and he's been helping me out actually before I launched, and just an insane amount of help and advice I've been getting from Bob. His wife, Lola, here's quite an announcement. His wife, Lola, is a professional bodybuilder. She's been working out for the last 3 months, building up for Series 2, and she is going to be the mother Satoshi. So she did a photo shoot last week, and we are building off of that photo shoot and doing something absolutely magical and incredible for her card, which will be the mother Satoshi, or the Satoshi card, to represent the mother Satoshi. This is going to be really, really fun with that one. And Bob is also one of our advisors. Another huge announcement is we've got Brady Swinson that has reached out to me, and he is helping us out dramatically. And we are beyond blessed to have Brady as our third advisor, which is just, amazing. So, those to me is the biggest announcements, because I know what that's going to do for this project and how much we're going to be able to build off of that and their feedback and advice moving forward. We're so blessed. Another huge one is the team that is with us right now. This has been a project I've been working on for 4 years, since the bear market in 2018, built through all of the bear got into the bowl and was nowhere near prepared because I just needed to draw in as much feedback as possible. I started doing Bitcoin consulting in 2020, going out and doing some speeches locally and just reaching out to as many non-coiners as possible so that I could fill up my booklet of nonstop feedback of you suck, this is great, and put all of that into these cards, because if I didn't have that, then I'm just winging it. And I really, after the first 2.5 years, the last thing I wanted to do was wing it. So it's been a shit ton of work coming out with this thing and moving forward with the potential that I think this has, not just for the Bitcoin community, but for the world when it comes to this subliminal orange pill. I had to put together an amazing team. You can see with us today, the Brady Bunch that we have. This is my amazing team we're putting together, beyond blessed, just going to give us the ability to step it up like never before. And I've never had a team so amazingly epic in every way. Everyone brings their own special qualities, skills, opinions that are gonna like push this thing to a whole nother level. So incredibly stoked on that. And
go ahead.
So the last big announcement, well, at least one of many, but this is the last one I'll throw on there. Let us get moving. Series 2. So we're in talks with Bitcoin Magazine. We haven't got the final how hardcore we are going to bring it, but I can tell you we are definitely going to be at Miami Bitcoin. We're going to bring it incredibly hard. Series 2 will be dropping at Miami Bitcoin, and we are going to push these commemorative packs like you've never seen before. Swan is the most special company in the world to me. They've got the most special place in my heart for giving me the ability to drop there before we'd even done our proof of work. So love Swan. Those packs are going to be the most legendary packs ever. What we're stepping into for Series 2 and Miami Bitcoin, these packs are going to be insane, and the scarcity is going to be on point. So Series 2, only 21,000 packs, being one of the scarcest packs ever done in a trading card project. The lineup that we have for Series 2, it's called FUD Busters, and we will be busting the FUD that the mainstream media puts on Bitcoin. So those are the questions the general public has for you. We're going to have the cards to answer them. And the warriors inside this next series, the lineup is insane. We've also added Bitcoin athletes as another category. The Bitcoin artists is completely on point. So we're drawing in some of the best Bitcoin artists from the whole Bitcoin community. Absolutely epic. I will drop one name because I am so fired up about this name. I just am beside myself. We have a new category. It's called Freedom Fighters. So whether you are a Bitcoin warrior or you are a freedom fighter, you have a spot in this pack, because that's what Bitcoin is all about, is the freedom. So I was able to reach out and actually have a personal one-on-one with the G. Edward Griffin. And he actually said, send me some packs. This is awesome. I shipped out G. Edward Griffin packs. So G. Edward Griffin is a pack stacker, which is like, I mean, shit. You can't get any more epic than that. The guy's in his 90s, and he's like, put me in a fucking pack. So G. Edward Griffin, with his approval and his blessing, is going to be one of the first freedom fighters in Series 2.
Legendary. Now I'm feeling FOMO. I shouldn't have opened my cards. Dang.
Hey, you have cards? I don't have
we got
cards.
We got them at Pacific Bitcoin, and I opened them. I'm like, I need to see what's inside of them, and now I should have kept them mint wrecked.
The FOMO is real. The FOMO is real.
Guys, where could people find these cards if they're interested in getting themselves the second drop?
So the best place is the website for now, and I know it's a Shopify, so bear with me. We do have two amazing Bitcoiners out of the UK that are building us insane website, and that will be a Bitcoin only payments website. And then if you want to pay with your dirty fiat, then we're going to direct you over to Shopify. But the main website will be dropping soon. Bitcoin Magazine, if you want to be able to get any of this series, is going to be the way to go. And then we will be dropping little secret boxes here and there, what we will be pulling out of cold storage. But for Series 2, we're hoping to be able to have a nice amount of them at Miami Bitcoin. And we will be doing pre-orders. So if you really want to get in on the pre-orders and have your best chance of doing that, check out our Twitter and go to the Telegram. We have over 221 people in the Telegram right now. The Telegram group is insane. Everyone's sharing. We have a secondary marketplace that's running right now. But Brady is actually helping us out, and we are building our own eBay style secondary marketplace for these trading cards so that we can do these peer-to-peer transactions and bring the community together and get back to the original trading, fuck leverage, trading cards. And this is a peer-to-peer amazing way to collaborate and make friends in Bitcoin. You'll just see from the Telegram group, the most amazing group of people. We got Brady in there. We got Tone Vase in there. Everyone's sharing cards, sharing memes and stories. It's incredibly fun. And that's where you're going to get the best chance to really get some secret ins on these trading cards. So we call them the pack stackers. And if you really want to have the ability to get some of these cards before anybody else and get extra special things we don't offer to anybody else, the Telegram group is such an amazing community that we put them first. They're just that incredible. And then we throw it on Twitter, then we throw it on everywhere else. But you'll see, if you get in there and check this group out, you'll see why we give them the top priority before we go anywhere.
How do people get into this Telegram group?
So just go to our Twitter account, and then there's a link right there underneath Bitcoin, or it's BTC_cards, and right there on our Telegrams in our bio. And you'll see that everyone that's jumped in so far has been just ecstatic. It's incredibly fun group.
Super sick. All right, we're getting peer pressure from the audience, and to put you guys on the spot, will there be a Simply Bitcoin, Nico, and Opti Jones trading card?
I think we're definitely going to have to do that. So Series 2, we go to print in a couple days. So we did have Alex jump in. He was on fire and he hopped. So there's another one we'll drop for you guys. We will have Alex in the Cafe Bitcoin in Series 2. So you guys, if you want to be in Series 3, let's lock it in.
All right, guys, you need to meme them to death.
Meme them to death. Simply Bitcoin is getting in the Series 3. Hopefully.
And that's Warriors versus Villains. So you want to be in that one.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us during the culture. I'm gonna go around the wheel or whatever. I don't know what it's called. Aladdin, where can people find you on Twitter?
BTC_cards.
AC, what about you?
I'm at AC_616.
Murdoch Media, where can people find you?
On Twitter, Murdoch_media, and that's spelled MURDAWK.
Awesome.
_media.
Carla, what about you?
I'm at Carla Hoddle, and I'm Carla with a K.
Carla with a K. And Brandon.
You can find me in these spaces hanging out with all these guys generally. Brandon_Gentile, GENTILE.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you guys want to hang around for the Michael Saylor bit during the news segment, feel free to stay in. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the news. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Cheers.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions. Scan and display QR codes directly on the device to sign transactions and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as the Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, and Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin. All right, everybody. Oh, looks like we got a couple people staying in. Anyways, let's check out. Oh, Aladdin's here too. We got a full house. We're gonna go through the Saylor news together. Let's try to make this full screen. Here we go. All right, everybody. So many years ago, Hal Finney originally made the case for a $10 million Bitcoin. I'm going to read this legendary passage. Speaking of Hal Finney, you saw that Hal Finney trading card. Anyways, let's get to it. It's interesting that the system can be configured to only allow a certain maximum number of coins ever to be generated. I guess the idea is that the amount of work needed to generate a new coin will become more difficult as time goes by. One immediate problem with any new currency is how to value it. Even ignoring the practical problem that virtually no one will accept it at first, there's still a difficulty in coming up with a reasonable argument in favor of a particular non-zero value for coins. As an amusing thought experiment, imagine that Bitcoin is successful and becomes the dominant payment system in use throughout the world. Then the total value of the currency should be equal to the total value of all the wealth in the world. Current estimates of total worldwide household wealth that I have found range from 100 trillion to 300 trillion. With 20 million coins, that gives each coin a value of about 10 million US dollars. This was a very, very long time ago. As Adam Back pointed out, he said it in early 2009. Hal Finney was truly, truly ahead of his time. Anyways, it's not also Hal Finney. This was a recent thread dropped by no other than Adam Back himself. He goes on to say, early this year, I was curious of the claim Bitcoin 2x per year on average. It checks. The decade January 2013 to December 2022, Bitcoin went up 2.0336x a year, 1,200% in a decade, or 1,200x in a decade. If that continues, we'll cross $10 million Bitcoin and a $200 trillion market cap by the end of the next two halvings, about 9 years. 200 trillion is Hal Finney's 2009 Bitcoin market cap prediction number. It's a lot. This places a significant part of the store of value premiums in bonds, real estate monetary premium, gold, 6 to 40 stock portfolios, etc. Some think adoption will slow, derivatives reduce volatility. I'm not sure about the adoption slowing, nor the volatility reducing. There are other factors. The news cycle, people who learn to hodl stack, who over time make it their mission to buy and cold store a much Bitcoin as possible, even resorting to leverage. Adoption could have hyper Bitcoinization spurts where rapid viral adoption nukes a weak currency in a hyperinflationary frenzy and domino crash 20 bottom tier currencies. People get pragmatic, adapt fast if they see fiat melting, a rush of others protecting savings via Bitcoin. Also bear in mind, Bitcoin does not have to absorb anywhere near $100 trillion to reach that market cap due to relative thin trading and hodl/cold storage investors. If Bitcoin really gets moving, it will become harder to get anyone to sell and have to pry it out of their cold wallet. So that was Adam Back's take. We went from Hal Finney predicting this, a legendary Hal Finney back in 2009, and you have Adam, putting his hat in the ring on February 12th, 2023. But really, really the one that was the most compelling to me, of course, I love Adam Back, is someone like Michael Saylor. And the reason it's the most compelling to me is you have to understand Saylor's position. Saylor is the head of a public company. So when he goes on Twitter and says something, he's responsible. There's a lot more people for him to answer to, right? So that's why it's interesting that Michael Saylor tweeted this. Now, Michael Saylor didn't directly say a number. He didn't directly make a promise, but he definitely linked a Substack article by Jesse Myers. He goes by Crosses Bitcoin on Bitcoin Twitter, and he goes on to say Bitcoin is competing against gold, collectibles, art, equities, real estate, bonds, and money as a store of value in the 21st century. Crosses BTC analyzes the opportunity and makes a compelling case for $10 million per Bitcoin. Now, it's really interesting. You have to keep in mind, right? Adam Back, we all know that Adam Back is a hardcore Bitcoin maxi like the rest of us. So for Adam Back to say this, it's not surprising, right? It's something that I would say, right? But you have to understand Michael Saylor being the figurehead of a public company. He's responsible to his shareholders. He has a lot more eyeballs. He has a lot more people to answer to, potentially the SEC, right? So for him to go out and link this type of article, I think is a very, very big statement. So I got to take a look at the article. Obviously, we don't have enough time on the show. I ran a little bit late today, but I wanted to read you some pieces that I found interesting. The name of the article is Bitcoin's full potential valuation. Goes on to say, everyone gets caught in the weeds. We hear about Bitcoin and we question the details, then spend a great deal of energy exploring whether the multitude of projects claiming to be better than Bitcoin are the real deal. After several hours of research, the answers appear to be yes. After thousands of hours of research, the invariable conclusion is unequivocally no. But pondering in all these details, we fail to take a step back and ask a few big questions that really matter. First question is, what is causing Bitcoin's value appreciation and volatility to date? And will that driver continue into the future? And then second question is, how high can it go? Where is the ceiling for Bitcoin? This will be answered in this article. Now it goes on to say, here is one of the paragraphs that I found interesting. Bitcoin is competing with store of value assets. That means gold, but also bonds and real estate and equities. In truth, it means that Bitcoin is competing with all assets because all assets serve as a store of value assets, right? And here has a, this beautiful, log value time chart. It says consumption, it says depreciating assets and inflationary assets, scarce assets, equities, and then Bitcoin. Bitcoin has absolute scarcity, which I believe is responsible for a lot of its historical performance. Now he goes on to say, what sets the ceiling for asset valuations? This is a piece of the puzzle that usually goes unaddressed. Different assets have different ceilings, meaning the percentage of the global asset pie they could ever realistically be. This is because the valuation of each asset category is constrained by key variables and their respective valuation equations. The value of a company is determined by two major inputs: its expected future cash flows and the discounted rate for those cash flows. In other words, how much money can a company realistically expect to pull in, and how low are interest rates going to be in the future? For real estate, it's a similar story. Global real estate value is constrained by expected future cash flows, mortgage rates, and the amount of new supply being created, new construction. Commodities are different in that sense that interest rates are not a primary input that helps to establish a ceiling for valuations. Instead, commodity valuations are primarily constrained by new supply. And that, I think, is the key passage there, right? What is the competing commodity? What people compare Bitcoin to is gold, right? We all know that Bitcoin, that the supply of gold is not capped, right? There is no cap supply. There's speculation, and I'm sure it's true that there's giant asteroids like meteors or comets floating in outer space that have trillions of dollars worth of gold in them. You can't say that there's meteors in outer space that have trillions of Bitcoin in them. We know that there's 21 million Bitcoin, and that's it. And a big percentage of that Bitcoin is lost forever. Some people estimate up to 5 million of the 21 million Bitcoin are gone. Anyways, goes on to say, for instance, with gold mining efforts collectively add 2% per year to above ground supply. What makes Bitcoin so different is that the market has to absorb half as much new supply from mining every 4 years. In 2016, 3.6 annual supply growth. Today, 1.8%. In 2024, 0.9%. In 2028, 0.45%. So the inflation rate continues to go down forever. And that is in stark contrast to not only fiat currencies, but also gold itself, right? And gold, I mean, that's what people make the comparison to. That's why they called Bitcoin digital gold. Metaphorically speaking, gravity gets cut in half every 4 years for Bitcoin. Therefore, the variable that typically constrains the valuation of commodities shrinks to zero over time, meaning that Bitcoin's price ceiling is ultimately set by something else: how attractive Bitcoin is relative to other store of value assets. Bitcoin has a uniquely attractive properties as a store of value asset. When it comes to where people choose to park their value, it's the properties of various assets classes that matter. Overall, you want an asset that can effectively store your purchasing power, propagate it through time undiluted, and hopefully grow that purchasing power along the way. The existing asset classes vary in their ability to deliver these properties, but Bitcoin outshines them all. It's a claim worthy of skepticism. To start with, if Bitcoin is so great, why didn't someone invent it sooner? The answer is simple. Bitcoin required the internet to exist before it could be born. You just have to be living through one of the most remarkable periods of human history, the digital revolution. And there's this great graph pointing it out. First, you needed internet adoption. And according to this graph, my personal beliefs as well, and a lot of other really good research from the community, we are in the beginning phase of Bitcoin adoption on a worldwide level. Anyways, it goes on to show more of the scarcity aspects of it. But this is the part that I wanted to focus on, because we have to remember Bitcoin's total market cap sitting roughly around $400 billion. We have to compare that to the global asset landscape. So it goes on to say there's a lot of wealth out there. All of it is sitting in assets of one kind or another. But what does the full picture of the global asset landscape look like? Incredibly, there doesn't seem to be a simple high-level view of this anywhere. So I spent a day researching and gathering data points in 2021 and have updated that analysis for 2023. This undoubtedly, so if you compare it, guys, this is a visual aspect. So you have billion, 400 billion, gold, 12 trillion, art, 18 trillion, cars, collectibles, 6 trillion, equities, 115 trillion, real estate, 330 trillion, bonds, 300 trillion, money, 120 trillion. This undoubtedly overstates some categories and understates others, maybe missing some pieces altogether. Point is, this is a rough picture of all world's value. It's something like $900 trillion in total. In that sense, Bitcoin's total addressable market is the world's balance sheet, all $900 trillion of it. Currently, the world's collective allocation to Bitcoin is just 0.05%, 0.4 trillion out of 900 trillion. That's one to the 2000th of the global asset value. Bitcoin's potential value, which is the point that the part that you guys have all been waiting for. Usually I don't read as much, but I feel like this is worthwhile, specifically because it was Michael Saylor who recommended this article, not to mention that Adam Back and Hal Finney, the legend Hal Finney, they had a similar train of thought. So this is definitely something to pay attention to. Yes, is it hopium? Absolutely, this is hopium, 100%. But when you have these very high profile people doing this research and coming to similar conclusions, maybe it's not something to, totally say 100%, this is exactly what's going to happen, but it's definitely something that you should pay attention to. It's definitely something that is worthy of your time, specifically if you analyze the logic behind them getting to these certain conclusions. How approached it in a certain way, Adam Back approaches it a certain way, and the article that Michael Saylor, a public figure, the CEO, or no longer the CEO, but the board, the chairman of a public company, is recommending something like this. So it's obviously something he takes seriously. Anyways, Bitcoin's potential value. Bitcoin enthusiasts often make the mistake of concluding that Bitcoin's potential value is infinite. This is true in dollar terms, since there is no limit to the amount of dollar debasement that can occur into the future, but it is unrealistic in real terms relative to other assets. The truth is that Bitcoin stands in relative competition with other store of value assets, all of which have unique value propositions. A wealthy individual is not very likely to sell their mansion or prize, or I don't know what that is, to buy Bitcoin, but is instead more likely to sell some of their bond portfolio because they believe Bitcoin better fulfills the intended purpose of holding bonds. Even if Bitcoin is the best asset out there, it is foolish to expect that everyone will eventually decide to be 100% Bitcoin. But it is also unrealistic to expect that Bitcoin will remain 0.05% allocation on the world's balance sheet. By addressing each store of values asset bucket, it's possible to estimate what percentage of the value stored in each will be reallocated to Bitcoin once the world collectively understands Bitcoin's unparalleled properties. This exercise ultimately yields a full potential valuation of Bitcoin in today's dollars. And here's what I think is a reasonable, even conservative estimate of Bitcoin's full potential. So goes on to say, He believes that Bitcoin capture $6 trillion of the gold market, 0.3% of the cars and collectibles, 0.9% of the fine art, stock market, 17 trillion of that, real estate, 50 trillion of that, bonds, 90 trillion of that, money, 36 trillion of that, meaning it could potentially reach $200 trillion market cap, meaning the price of each Bitcoin. This is very, very similar to Hal Finney's prediction, I might add, is at 10 million US dollars per Bitcoin. I might add, and I just want to specify, this is today's dollars. So this is today's dollars. This is the current purchasing price of Bitcoin. That makes me incredibly bullish. Obviously, I agree because I'm a crazy maxi Bitcoiner. I wouldn't be here if I didn't agree in Bitcoin's future potential. But I love the breakdown of it. I love the fact that they dive deep. This isn't just another price prediction from a Bitcoin YouTube channel. It dives deep into it. And I want to emphasize once again, you have someone like Michael Saylor putting his name behind it and retweeting it to the millions of followers that he has. Not to mention, Hal Finney got to a very similar number. Not to mention, Adam Back got to a very similar number as well. So it doesn't mean that these things are going to happen in the future, but I think it's worthy of taking a look at it, just pondering it, looking at their logic, seeing if you can find flaws in their logic. Obviously, what needs to happen for those numbers to come true is a global acceptance of Bitcoin. There's plenty of hurdles that we need to overcome for that to happen. Not to mention what Opti was mentioning earlier, the unproductive class, the people that benefit tremendously from the legacy financial system. People like Charlie Munger, right? People like Jamie Dimon, right? So there's a lot of hurdles that need to be jumped over. There needs to be a lot of education. A lot of people in the West that have the privilege of relatively stable fiat currencies don't have the incentive to seek alternatives. So a lot of things need to happen for those numbers to come true. But I also think it's a good thought experiment to see what when all is said and done, what the potential valuation of Bitcoin could be in the future. And that's really why I enjoyed that article a lot. But I am very aware that a lot of people can interpret that as hopium. Anyways, let's go around. Opti, what are your thoughts? And then we'll move on to our guests.
Yeah, I'll keep this short. So first off, shouts out to Coraces BTC on Twitter for doing the good work. And, obviously Hal Finney and Adam Back and Saylor. And I really like your context, Nico, of Saylor. He's obviously very intentional with his words, so he can't be stupidly bullish like we can be every single day. But I think the main point, and we said this before, we had Greg Foss come on and say the same thing. The total addressable market for Bitcoin is $900 trillion, and you guys are still bearish out there. You guys are still not believing us when we say that we're early. Like, you're not going to make it. Wake up. We even had someone say it in the chat, like, Bitcoin, like, you're late to Bitcoin. Like, bro, read the numbers. We are so early to this thing that the global adoption of Bitcoin is minimal, and you guys are bearish on Bitcoin. Like, come on, guys. Zoom out. Just, that's all I'll say.
Exactly. Zoom. When in doubt, zoom out. No, do some research, bro. Educate yourself. Whenever I doubted my hodl, like in the beginning years, right? All I did was just, for me personally, at that time, there was not that much Bitcoin content on YouTube. It isn't like today. But I would just listen reruns of Max Kaiser and Andreas Antonopoulos. Andreas Antonopoulos lectures were epic and legendary. And it really made me see that this isn't, yes, fine. You come for the money, but you stay for the revolution. I think that's why we're all here. We want to fix the money, fix the world. Anyways, Aladdin, what are your thoughts on this, bro? What was your take on this Saylor's promoted hopium article?
So I've been following, reading back into Hal Finney's back in, I think it was 2017, because got it in 2016, started the rabbit hole and found Hal Finney's tweet on that. I mean, it makes sense in many points. I think that one thing we don't even talk about that often, I don't hear people talk about, how many of these, we want to call them the elites, the 1% or whatever it is, that are literally in their 80s, 90s, some of them even 100 right now. Within the next 5 to 10 years, unless they figure out some kind of fountain of youth, they're on their way out. And once they're out, then the allocation of that wealth that has been sitting in a certain position for some of these people the last 40, 50 years, that's going to open up new doors that we can't even dream about. So everything that Saylor's talking about, in my opinion, is right on, because as these people start to fall off and their wealth starts to be transferred to their children and their children's children, there's going to be a lot more people that are open-minded to the potential of Bitcoin. But it's, even if they don't believe in it and they don't want the freedom part of Bitcoin, they also don't want to miss the boat. And I think a lot of that old money is going to start to flow into Bitcoin like never before over the next 5-10 years, as these old farts start kicking the bucket.
Yeah, 100%. But it is going to be a fight, and I don't think that they realize their own mortality, because they sure don't act as if they're mortal. They act as if, maybe they know something we don't. I have no idea. But Charlie Munger is definitely not talking from a position of, I'm 90 something years old. Statistically speaking, I have, if I'm lucky, another decade on this planet. He's talking as if he's going to live another 100 years, which is like,
he just might though, Nico.
Dude, I don't know. He sure acts like that. That's for sure. So anyways,
he's a vampire, confirmed.
Yeah, the first head plugged into a robot.
The higher inflation, the longer his lifespan. Anyways,
let's get Brandon in here. Get Brandon in here. I need a Brandon rant.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that rant on what Charlie Munger's done to live another 100 years. That's a spaces talk. I'll keep it quick. Like Nico was saying, everybody laughed at me. It's you. If you don't think this is going to be at $1 million, 2 million, 10 million, I mean, you are beyond bearish, just beyond bearish. I mean, this is you look at it's a very small asset class, right? 400, 500 billion in market cap. I mean, to get to 200 trillion, which is what we just outlined right there, that is 400 times from here. That, you have to go 400x from here currently to get to 200 trillion. And that 200 trillion, as many people have noted here, was somewhat of a conservative estimate in a way, right? So just show you the magnitude of how early we truly are. And Jesse Myers does a great job of breaking that down to 1/2000th. I love the way he's one of the only ones that breaks it down of how early we truly are to Bitcoin, and it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. Unfortunately, and they're not going to get it until they deserve it, I guess, later on, right? And that's kind of how it works. So I'll keep it short, keep it pithy, but that's we are so beyond early. I feel like CK up here, just like, we are so early. We're so early, guys. You got to be incredibly bullish. But right there, again, 400 trillion or 400 billion, 500 billion market cap. You got to go for 400x just to get to 200 trillion. So long way to go.
Amen to that. AC, what are your thoughts on all this?
I appreciate you, by the way, reading most of that article. I tweeted it out yesterday because I saw, Saylor posted it. And then I even made a comment thanking the author. What's his Croesus?
I think it's Croesus. I don't know.
Croesus, but he responded back. They responded back saying, "My pleasure. Good one to have, saved to share with friends and family." And I absolutely agree with that. It is definitely an article that he's breaking down a lot of data, a lot of information, but it's very important information for us to know. But the way he breaks it down for someone like me, who can understand and comprehend and start soaking it in, and I'm a Bitcoiner. So even articles like this is so important because I'm taking it in, I'm learning, I'm comprehending. So I really appreciated this article. And I love that you read it, like I said. But it's kind of, going back to even the cards that we do, it's really bringing education and important information, simplifying it so that you can share it with your with family and friends. I have family that has invested in gold and other investments. So I think having this breakdown, this article is so important so we can understand that Bitcoin really is in the playing field with these other assets. And not only that, it's finally an asset that can't be manipulated at the end of the day. I think people are looking for truth, and we're looking for things that we can invest, learn about, and that has value that cannot be manipulated. So that's a big, I love that part of Bitcoin.
100%, 100%. Murdoch, what's your thoughts on this, bro?
Yeah, mine will be short as well. That's a super awesome article. There's definitely going to be more than 0% of all assets moving into Bitcoin. I've personally already done it, as many listening and watching, I'm sure, have as well. Otherwise, using dollar terms, it's bearish to price Bitcoin in dollars.
100%. I love that. All right, last but not least, Aladdin, what's your take on this before we get to the
he started it. Let's get to the memes, Nico. Let's get to the memes.
So many people. Too many people. My mind is spinning. Let's do it. Memes.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboom Racks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboom Racks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboom Racks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboom Racks.
Let's go, boys and girls. You already know. Kaboom Rack. This is the meme review. It's your favorite portion of the show, but since we went over a little long today, I did kind of have to thin it out so we don't go over way too long today. Anyways, we say it all the time. Tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. You guys are frontline soldiers in this information war. Make sure you make the memes. Make sure you spread the signal. Make sure you get the calls of actions, and maybe get yourself some trading cards when they come out so we can orange pill more people. Okay. Anyways. Let's full screen this, Nico, so we can see this. So this first one, shouts out to my buddy, empty_banks, and he goes, happens every single time without fail. And what's he talking about? He's got this meme here where a dad's talking to his son. He goes, remember, son, the best thing about Bitcoin bull markets is all the haters and faithless shills get to eat your shit. Sorry, Nico, had to do it. Okay, this next one is Homer Simpson grabbing a little note from one of these, free financial advice things you see on the bulletin board, and it says you don't have enough Bitcoin. And after today's news segment, I know all of you guys are feeling the same way. Oh my God, we do not have enough Bitcoin. You better stack some sats after this show is over, or maybe even during. Anyways, this next one is by @Maxie's Club. Shouts out to you, bro. And he goes 313, just ask. And he goes, when someone asks me anything about Bitcoin, have a seat. Have a seat. I will teach you about Bitcoin, and it's going to be a long-winded rant. So as long as you can take it, have a seat. And back to just being stupidly bullish. Honestly, I didn't know we were going to have this much hopium on today's show, Nico. But anyways, it's fitting. And I put this tweet out the other day. Good morning. Accumulating Bitcoin is freedom. And we got this response by legend_5150. And he goes, how I feel watching Bitcoin pump. Hashtag BTC. And it's this, what I can only assume is a really big dude right next to an even bigger bull. So stay bullish, stay bull-hearted, friends. Bullish. Continuously stay bullish. All right, so you already know the deal. Drop your meme review score chat or meme review score in the chat, and we will cover it live. I don't know if I've used this yet, Nico, but I am going to do just one single AirPod.
It's a really good score. I'm gonna give it. Wait. Hold on.
Oh, you forgot. We forgot. We're adding new segments to the segment. Nico can't even get it.
I'm gonna give it a hat. A beefsteak hat.
Ooh.
Miami beefsteak hat. A limited edition. Yes.
Love beefsteak.
We needed the epic music. All right. What is that book called?
Dichotomy of Leadership by Jocko. That's Bitcoiners leading the way.
Let's go.
I like that. Aladdin, what would you give those memes?
I'm giving it a Satoshi's gift.
Ooh, very nice. All right. AC, what would you give those memes?
I'm going to give, I pulled this. I'm going to give it a beautiful Bitcoin card. Start it off.
Okay. Very nice. And last but not least, nice. Murdoch, what would you give those memes?
I'm going to give it a lightning sticker. I got here.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good score.
Nice.
Looks like it's a bit blurry. Nice. So it says I got lightning working, but all I got was this sticker.
Very, very, very nice.
You know, shouts
Very,
out to the
very
Blockstream team. I got one of those as well. I think I framed mine.
All right, guys.
Nice.
Before we get to the fan scores, Opti is wearing the Simply Bitcoin merch exclusively on RepresentLTD.com. He's wearing the orange shirt. You can use the promo code Simply-Bitcoin. I'm wearing the Simply Bitcoin merch, the camo merch. You
Nice.
guys know that I like camo. Only on RepresentLTD.com. You can use the promo code Simply-Bitcoin. Anything on the store, get yours while supplies last. Anyways, let's
When
get
monetary demons. When monetary demons.
when monetary. I think it says that on one of the
On the truth bombs, I
On
think.
the truth bombs,
Okay,
I think it
good.
says that. Elaine, I give the memes the $21 million Bitcoin cap. There's nothing like it in money or store of value in the history of the world. Very nice, Elaine. Jasmina, I always say that wrong. I give those memes a slice of pound cake. Okay.
Oh,
I
spicy
like
take from
myself.
Nihilist Fields. Hold on, spicy
Nihilist
take from Nihilist Fields.
The opposite of Opti. Bitcoin trading cards will be more secure than Bitcoin when 21 million cap is exploited by the Bitcoin company. Prove me wrong.
The best. I saw that Opti's card has to have Christy Lagarde and his girlfriend.
Yes!
I did see that as well.
Yes! Yes, it has
little
to
silhouette
have
of Christy.
Christine Lagarde in the background. Bitcoin Becca, I give the memes a zap on Noster. Yes, I like that. Absolutely. What is the next one? What are we? Is that all? Opti?
Another spicy one. Another spicy
I
one.
give the memes one. Nico kicked out of Simply Bitcoin, just like so cute. Nah, dude.
Nah,
You know,
son. Come
Nah.
on, son.
Close, but I won that fight. Igor, I give those memes not great, not terrible. Next one. Bitcoin for Canadians. I give the memes Christia Freeland's tight, twitchy attitude. Oof. Kaizen, I give the memes the central banks shitting themselves over BTC. Oh man. Hammersaw, I give the memes a bald Elon Musk head. Very nice. Okay.
If you know, you know.
Think Orange. I give the memes Charlie Munger's secretly doing orange poo. Okay, very nice.
Orange shits, I think.
Rave Elevator. I give the memes one proof of war speech from Brandon. Very, very nice.
That's
All right,
what we
Opti.
got, Nico. That's what we got.
No, bro. We only stop when there's a buzzer.
We only stop when there's no more.
There's a buzzer. No, it's because of the buzzer. Anyways, guys, make sure to check us out. Check out our Telegram group. It's absolutely free. Go to www.t.me/simplybitcointv. And also check out the written version of the show. Go to www.simplybitcoin.news. I want to thank our awesome guests. Thank you so much for joining us today on Simply Bitcoin Live. I'm going to go around the horn. Aladdin, where can people find you? No, I already asked you guys this question. Thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin Live. I'm incredibly bullish on your project. Those cards look incredible. You heard it, guys. Go to the Bitcoin 2023 conference. That's where you're going to see them. You can take advantage of the promo code Simply. Get 10% off your tickets. Opti and I will see you there as well. And hopefully we can see these awesome Bitcoiners as well. Love you all. The party continues on Simply Bitcoin's Twitter Spaces, which we co-host over with our friends over at Swan Bitcoin. Best place to stack sats, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. Go check out swan.com if you haven't already done so. See you guys on Twitter Spaces. We got about 25 minutes of party on Twitter Spaces. See a lot of you guys there.
Let's go.
Peace out.